Okay, it's day 65, and this is part three. This is Imperator Rex. If you don't follow him, you should. He's a national security expert, and he really looks like he's got an intelligence background. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know this person, but he really has done an insightful timeline here, especially around this idea of the PP FISA, the PP dossier that precedes the PP FISA, and then on into kind of the entrapment of Flynn, and then the kind of Trump striking back with his own team. So we'll see if those things are true as more and more details come out in my case. But now we have facts coming back from the different people testifying. And one of the great things about having 13 or an Ocean's 12 conspiracy is people reply at different times, and they have to keep checking with what other conspirators are saying. So you get more and more information almost on a daily basis now. So that's what's nice about the lawsuit. But if you haven't seen it, it's this October time frame, okay? So it looks like this is the insurance policy. We need an insurance policy. Now, if you remember, Peter Strokes, who I think is Andy McCabe, sends a message to Lisa Page, who I think is Rod Rosenstein, that, hey, we need to have an insurance policy. So you bring in the Russians, you bring them into Sauterville, Maryland, you got to pay them some money to do this. They got to find something in the next 3 months. The Trump Hotel thing happens, the Trump Tower thing happens, that fizzles. That was supposed to be the thing before the election that was going to knock out Trump. A lot of leaks happen to the Wall Street Journal, and different Russia stories get leaked. None of that stuff works. So now they're into this October FISA thing, which is, what do we do in case Trump wins? Can we knock him out before he becomes president? So that's what we're talking about here, what he talks about in post 9. Go back and all the way to 1 if you want the whole perspective. But now we get to 9 here is basically PP dossier, 10 is PP FISA, okay? Now 12 here is, this is obtained illegally. Remember when there was a FISA, they tried for a FISA after the Veselnitskaya meeting on June 9th. That was going to be what I call the Katsiv FISA. The Katsiv FISA was a watered-down version of the PP FISA. The PP FISA they paid a lot more money for. The PP dossier and the PP FISA cost a lot more money. You had to bring Russians in to do spying to do that, some really down and dirty hackers and so forth. They thought they were going to get away with it, but Contreras, I believe, is on the FISA board at that time, my judge for my 2 cases, Podesta and the DNC cases. He's on the board, and he turns down the PP FISA, or the Katsiv FISA. The Katsiv FISA gets turned down, or we can call it the McCabe FISA, whatever you want to call that, Trump Tower FISA. And they need more juice. They need more stuff to get on them. So that's when they bring the Russians into Centreville. Anyway, that's my perspective. I'm just amplifying and adding to what Imperator has already talked about here. Now, he talks about how if this ever came out, it's a felony. They're going to have to do parallel construction here, which is all good. The plan was always that Hillary would win, so there would be no reprisals for any of this. They pretty much felt like there's nothing bad's going to happen. But then Trump does win. So now they really have to go into overdrive. They've got to get Flynn. If you don't get Flynn turns around and uses the DIA apparatus, along with Mattis, I believe. It's the part that Imperator Rex and I disagree on, but I think Mattis and General Rogers are really kind of more at the behind all this than Flynn. But I think Flynn's just kind of the front man of this, but Imperator thinks Flynn's more would lead the charge here back against McCabe. So it's one of those things like almost aircraft carrier warfare in World War II. If McCabe doesn't get Flynn before, then Flynn becomes a McCabe and then gets McCabe. So it's kind of like do or die. So anyway, in December 16th, they set up Flynn here with the Kislyak. Of course, he's making all these round-robin phone calls. He talks a little bit about sanctions, saying, hey, don't get your knickers in a twist. They try to now twist that. Now, the thing is, they go to the White House, right, and have this secret interview with supposedly Peter Strokes. I don't think so. I think that's Andy McCabe, because we already have another Andy McCabe meeting where Flynn's hiding behind the curtains at the White House. McCabe being the key conspirator in Uranium One going all the way back is not going to let a second go to the White House. Flynn is not going to be questioned in the White House by Peter Strzokes. At least that's not what I believe. But anyway, we'll see if that is what ends up happening or not as the facts come out on this. The facts are going to come out on this. Even though they put a gag order on Flynn, I believe that the facts will come out. And there's a very specific reference here to January the 12th. Okay, so anyway, January the 11th, BuzzFeed comes out with releasing the PP dossier. Okay, so this is the last roll of the dice by the Obama administration. Okay, great. Now, General Flynn puts this plan into action of, hey, where did this come from? This is where I think this, again, it may be a little bit of hidden Markov model here, but I really work on signatures and hidden Markov and all that. And to me, it just seems like Rogers and Mattis have put together a plan. Where did this leak come from? This thing came out yesterday. I think they put a plan in place here on the 12th. Now, we'll see if that's true or not. I don't think it's Grassley. I don't think Grassley's calling the Inspector General Horowitz over at DOJ and putting this little secret team together. I think it's Mattis, but we'll see. Anyway, Flynn is kind of... Now, Imperator thinks that Flynn is playing the old broken wing defense, deliberately wants to be set up so they can prove the conspirators illegally using the FISA. That's Imperator's contends here in 24. Bottom line is there's a counterintelligence team created on February the 12th, and basically they're entrapping the entrappers. So you can read that, the only thing I think from the analysis is that it's being driven by Mattis and Rogers. They would be at NSA the only people that would know where they got the PP dossier link from. They would be the only people that knew the Russians in Centreville was actually where they got the information.